G'day cocktail lovers, I hope you've been keeping well and I hope you're ready to say happy birthday Harry Craddock. If you've not heard of him, he's one of the most influential bartenders of the 20th century. A lot of people would say he could be the most important bartender of the 20th century. He did invent quite a few cocktails. His two best known that are still widely served today would be the White Lady and the Corpse Reviver No. 2. But potentially his bigger contribution was when he was the head bartender at the Savoy. He put together the Savoy cocktail book. There's about 2,000 recipes, and let's be honest, like 1,900 of them are pretty ordinary at best. But he potentially preserved hundreds of cocktails that we simply would have lost without this book. It's still used by people today, and like I said, most of them, but there's enough of them that are very good and people still make Harry Craddock a huge figure in 20th century bartending. And yeah, this is going live around his birthday, so I thought I would make a Harry Craddock cocktail, not the White Lady or the Corpse Reviver. I looked through and found one. He loved a martini riff, and this one starts off with some elements of a martini and then goes its own way. This is the Leave It To Me Martini. You'll notice it's a very brilliant red, and this is because it has a sweet vermouth, and my sweet vermouth is very red. Not all sweet vermouths are this red. It's gin based. It's got gin and sweet vermouth as opposed to gin and dry vermouth that most martinis have. But like I said, Harry Craddock loved a riff on a martini, and I taste tested a couple, and this was the one I like the most. It's like, big surprise, much sweeter than your average martini. Still has that wonderful gin backbone. This would actually be a very good cocktail for someone who thinks they don't like gin. If you've got a friend who thinks they don't like gin, I'd recommend you make this one for them, and they may well come around because it's got a bit more going on in it. Oh, hey, you probably want to see how to make it. So I think, I probably need to travel back in time to before I made it to show you that. And hey, if you're going to come along for the ride, it would be great if you subscribe to the channel, if you're not already. Do the like, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment on do you have a favorite Harry Craddock drink? But for now, we'll go back and I'll show you how I made this. Well, that was weird. I don't have the drink now, so time to make it, I suppose. Let's play along at home if you have some ingredients, namely gin. This is a gin-based drink, as all good martinis are, and Harry Craddock had a thing for London dry gin, and this is a gin I recently got from Sydney's Archie Rose Distillery, their bone dry gin. It's a limited run, but basically whichever dry style gin you have at your disposal, that's what we want to start with. And we're going to do 45 mils or 1.5 ounces of gin. This drink also calls for apricot brandy or an apricot liqueur, whichever one you happen to have at your disposal. This is what I picked up. It's actually from Croatia. I still find it weird that I just randomly get stuff from Croatia, somewhere that I don't sort of regard as and this is my ignorance because these people in Maraska make a lot of good liqueurs. I'm just surprised that they end up in bottle shops in Australia basically. But enough talk, let's add it. 15 mils, half an ounce of apricot liqueur. Most martinis will use a dry vermouth. This riff recommends a sweet vermouth, and I have one that I particularly like. You can go with what you have. This comes from South Australia, from Unico Zello people. It's a yuzu based, well, it's a wine based vermouth obviously, but they've used yuzu, the Japanese citrus, as part of the flavouring. I really like it. It's super red, even by red vermouth standards, but we're going 3/4 of an ounce or about 22.5 mils of sweet vermouth. Departing even further from a standard martini template, we want some lemon juice in this drink. Some I squeezed earlier, but we're going to add 15 mils or half an ounce of lemon juice. The final touch is a little grenadine or pomegranate syrup. You can get store-bought. I recommend making your own. It's very easy. 50% pomegranate juice, 50% sugar. You can do a few little tweaks around that if you like. It's just so easy to make and tastes so much better than store-bought grenadine. Doesn't have the radioactive red color that a lot of store-bought ones have if you make it yourself. I definitely recommend it. In this case, we're going to do, and you can a bit more, a bit less, depending on your personal palate, but somewhere around 1/4 to 1/3 of an ounce. So that's from like 7.5 mils to 10 mils of grenadine. This is a shake and drink, so we add ice to our shaker, put it together, bang it in hard, and give that a good solid shake for about 10 seconds. If you were going to garnish this, I would go my favorite martini garnish and just a peel of lemon. And, oh wow, this skin on this is not agreeing with me. But you just want a swath of lemon, express the oils over the top, and I'm not fancy, I'll drop it straight in. The Leave It to Me Martini. Leave it to Harry Craddock. One of his lesser known recipes, but I think a really good one. It's crossing over into the sweeter realm, much more so than a usual martini, but I like a bit of variety in my drinks. Hope you liked it too, and if you give it a try, let me know. In the meantime, do look after yourself, look after people around you as well, and until I see you again, happy birthday, Harry Craddock, and cheers to you.